All right, so today we're going to make some COVID masks. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Joann Fabrics is giving material to people and giving them directions on how to make masks for hospitals for the COVID outbreak. Now, I've always believed in volunteering my time and my effort and in local stuff, so it's right up my alley. So we're going to take a look at what you get in the kit that they send to you. This appears to be a list of the stuff in there and the there's a template. So that's the list and the directions. Here is a template to follow. Take and make masks to be completed. Okay, looks like they've got not everything in here that's needed because of the success of the program. Some elastic for your ears, the thread. Here is some fabric. Looks like they got two different kinds of fabric in here. I like that pattern. That reminds me of a couch that my parents used to have, and a chair. There was a couch and a chair set, but it was a little darker gray than blue, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I'll make one of these as a test run and see how it works, and then we'll go through the process together. All right, so what did I learn from that? First of all, this was the wrong size. So it looks like when they copied it or printed it, they put it at 75%. So I got all the way to the end of the first mask, and I said, boy, this seems awful small. So I measured it. Come to find out, it was not 6 inches by 9 inches as it should have been. It was something like 6 3/4 by 4 1/2. So I think that's just going to end up being a child's mask. I didn't even put the pleats in that yet because it was already way small on my face, right? I tested it. But so that was the one thing, and then the other thing was when I did fold over the pleats, I noticed it sewed awful hard. You'll see when I show the, well, you already saw, the needle ended up getting stuck in the fabric, and also some of my pins came out of the fabric awful hard, and I had to use my Leatherman. So just a couple of, things to note, things that you run into whenever they make you, whenever they make videos like this, they never show you the, the accidents that happen. Other than that, I think it went pretty smooth. So now we'll go through and I'll talk you through the entire process. All right, so the first thing you want to do is trace out your fabric. And there's two different kinds of fabric here. The directions say to cut it from one and fold it over, but they gave me two different types of fabric here, so I'm going to make it with two different types of fabric. This is softer, this is satiny, silky, So this is the side that I've been putting on, the side that'll go on the face, because it'll be a little easier on the face. And then the other one is the decorative. So this is the same spot where I cut out the other one. And I'm just going to take the template here. I made, like I said, it wasn't just about right. I think they printed it at 75% the last time. So I made my own template. I just measured out the 6x9 the way it should be. And then taped that template on there just, you know, because because I needed to find, I thought I needed an idea of where the pleats should fall, but really I just eyeballed it in the end. So that's what most of this is, I think, is just, it's not really too fancy. You just gotta sew two squares together and make a mask. So I've got this on the wrong side of the fabric here where I'm tracing it. And now go ahead and trace that out. And I'm using the finished edge as one side. And then the other cut edge that I had from the other piece as the other side. So now let's go ahead and cut this out. Again, this is 6x9, the measurement on this. These are pinking shears that I'm using. I didn't say that you needed pinking shears, and these are all going to be hidden because we're sewing these right sides together. So the seam is going to be hidden anyway, so I don't think you really have to worry too much about fraying. But I didn't think it could hurt too much. And these are either my grandmother's or my great-grandmother's pinking shears. I think both. I think they were my great-grandmother's, and then I think my grandmother ended up using them as well. So I always like to use those when I get a chance. So there's that one. Now you're going to do the same thing with the other fabric. This lovely floral pattern. It's funny because it looks like scrubs, right? So these are going to a hospital. You take it back to, after you go and get the kit at Joann's Fabric, you go and you make your masks, and then you take them back to Joann Fabrics, and they have a list of local hospitals that can use them. So you could also just, I'm sure, take it. I've seen hospitals around here putting out notices that they'll accept the homemade masks as well. So I'm sure you wouldn't have to take them to Joann's and go through that. You could just find one directly who was looking to use them. So again, this is pretty straightforward. Just repeating what I did on the other one. It's got all the plants on here. It's got grapes or blueberries, maybe? I don't know. I don't know if this plant exists in nature, but it exists at Joann's Fabrics. And as a COVID mask now. So there's the other square. Alright, there's both my, we'll throw that over there. Nice and neat. So now, what you have to do is go, and you're going to pin these right sides together, so that when you flip it back out, then the wrong sides end up in the inside, and right sides end up on the outside. So there it is. I did a nice job. They actually they match up, so that works for me. Now, when you go to pin this, you're going to want to pin your elastic inside, so that when you turn it out, when you turn it inside out, these end up outside, right? So if you don't follow that, that's okay, because it's all kind of easier to show than to talk about. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to cut a strip of the 2 strips of this elastic. They're 7 inches each. And these are going to be the elastics that go over your ears. So there's 7 inches right there. And as you can see, I'm not being very precise about this. We're not making tailored suits here. It's just a mask. And so it's a very, I'm not being very precise, is I guess what I'm getting at. And I don't think precision is, I'm not going to try to make a mess of it, but I'm just kind of free-forming it here, right? So there, these are going to go ahead and sit inside in between those two like that, right? So you're going to go and pin, and then the other one will be the same thing on that side. Go and pin everything together, and that'll be that. So we'll fast forward through this. All right, so we've completed that, and you'll pin, this is, you can't see it now, but that elastic is in there, and it makes a U right here. It's pinned there, and it is a U through here like that, right? And you lay it so that it's facing the same way, so there's no twists in it, and it's, what, 3/4 of an inch or so from the edges here, but also we're going to have a 1/4 inch inseam. So these are going to pretty much end up when we're, seam allowance, not inseam. So these are going to end up pretty much right at the corners once we get everything all sewed up. So we'll take it over to the sewing machine now and get her stitched up. Okay, so when you go to stitch this up, you're going to want to go ahead and start at the center here and work your way around, because you have to, and then not finish it, right? You want to leave a gap in one of these edges, and actually it could be any one of these edges. The direction called for the long edge to leave the gap there, but I got ahead of myself and got excited and actually stitched both of those sides too soon on my first mask, so I had to leave this end open. And I thought that might mess things up, having to pull the 2 loops through each other, but it didn't. So you could leave a hole anywhere here and be able to pull it inside out once you need to. So, but I'm gonna do it like it's supposed to be done. So I've got my threads there. I'll go ahead and drop my presser foot and take this, whoops, we're gonna move down actually and start here, because that's where we need to, it moves this way, so that's why we need to start there. Okay, and like I said, about a 1/4 inch seam allowance here, and I'm just gonna go for it. So we'll get moving with the moving with the pedal here, and I've got my stitch length and everything, my tension all set, all picked out the way it's supposed to be. So we're just gonna go ahead and stitch here, and we're gonna get down to the corner. And once you get to the corner, you want to make sure you've got your needle in, pierced, right? You lift the presser foot and turn, and that gives you a nice sharp corner. So now the elastic is right down in here, right? So, and we want that to be stitched in there nice and tightly. So we're gonna go ahead, and I don't want to pull that pin yet, because then that elastic will flop around. So we got to be kind of slow here, and I'm gonna go ahead and stitch up to the elastic. Now I'm holding that with the needle and with the presser foot. Now we're going to go once over the elastic, and then once back over the elastic, and then once back over the elastic, and that's going to make sure it's nice and tight in there so that it doesn't pull out. So now we're going to go all the way down to the other one, same thing here. Get up to the elastic. All right, we've got her poked. Pull out the pin, drop that, come down through, go back over, come back through. There we go. Now it's time for another corner, right? So now we're gonna 1, 2, 1. Whoops, too many, but that's okay. So now I'm gonna pull up. I'm still in the cloth here, and actually that worked out all right. So now we turn the corner again, right? Drop the presser foot, and now this is fun because we get to go for one long run here all the way down the backside. You know, pull the pins as you go, because if you don't, you'll actually bend those, and that's why I had such a hard time getting that other one out in the time lapse, is because it was already bent, and then it got stuck under the presser foot, and had a couple kinks in it. It was just a nightmare to get out of there. And then when I went to pull it off, I pulled the little plastic head off. So that's why I needed to go and pinch it with my Leatherman. So now we're gonna go and one more stitch to the corner here. Whoop. 3 stitches to the corner here. Just kidding. Turn it. When you get close like that, you can also, instead of using the pedal, you can use the hand wheel, and then that gives you a little bit more control, and that's what I should be doing, honestly, when I do that. Then I'd make it a little bit more clean, right? But you can sneak back in here, and this is all going to get turned inside out anyway. So now we're up to that elastic again, pull the pin, and then back over the elastic, and then back over it again. Now all the way down to the other one. Alright, we're getting close again. I just pinched my finger with that knob that keeps the needle in. That's why you saw me jump. Okay, down through, now back over, down through. Now I'll use the hand wheel like you're supposed to. 1, 2, 3, presser foot, turn the corner, drop it down. Now, we're not gonna go all the way here because we gotta leave a spot, right? So we're gonna go to right about here, and then that's gonna be that. So, I'm gonna pull that pin because that's being a pain. Okay, now down to the middle here. And I'm not gonna bother with back stitching this because we're gonna go over this so many more times that it's gonna hold. So pulled out there. And there's that. Got some tails there that I'm not gonna bother with because they'll just get hidden. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it inside out, right? So you're gonna push it all through here. You get those handy little handles to pull on. And look at that. Looks kind of like a COVID mask, huh? So now you've still got that hole open, right? So now, and like I said, if you wanted to take more time with this and be a little bit more neat, you'd go through and you could press all this now and make it all nice. And I could do that. And maybe once I get the hang of the rest of the things on this mask, maybe I'll take a little bit more time as I go along, and I'll go and I'll press the other ones that I make. But one mistake I made before was, well, I won't call it a mistake. I did it differently. I sewed this all the way around once and then went back and sewed the pleats. And that's not how it called for, but, well, actually, let's try it a different way. I'm going to try this a different way than I did before. So now I'm going to go through and actually pin these pleats right now, right? And then take one pass and do it all at once, and we'll see how that works for me. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I pinned all these together, all these pleats, and again, I didn't measure anything. I just folded them over where I thought it looked good. And the whole point is to bunch this up here along your cheek, right? Is where this is going to fall. And then that leaves this open for your nose and your mouth and your chin, right? And then I printed this hole shut too. This is the hole that we turned it inside out through. So I printed that shut to keep it. And now we're just gonna go, whoops, I pulled my thread out of my needle. I'll rethread that. I was never very good with delicate stuff, right? So as I've been going through my sewing journey, I've been getting a lot more, well, I've been using my fingers more, right, for delicate tasks, and I think it's helping. Like you saw there, that was when I first started to use the sewing machine. That would have taken me 15 minutes right there to thread that needle. So now I'm gonna pull my threads back like this, make sure I got enough. This we're gonna go ahead and loop up in here. I might end up cutting this, or I might not. Good educational experience. I like to show the whole process. So I gotta decide how I'm gonna start this. I think I'm going to, okay, so that's different. So like I said before, I went through and I sewed all the way around this before, and then I went back and I re-sewed the pleats. Now this time I've done it all at once, and one thing that I can see that's different is now I've got this curve here, right? Because I've made the curve. Before it was easy to sew all the way around in a straight line because everything was straight. So we'll see how this goes now with this extra curve in here. I think I'll just have to keep tension on it, that's all. So we'll sneak in here, and we're gonna start right on the corner, down with the presser foot, and we can get going. Yeah, I can see. All right, I can see advantages to both ways. Like I said before, it was a little bit easier. I didn't have to follow this turn, but it's also more steps, right? So we'll see how this is, whether I'm successful or not. All right, so we're going down, keeping that 1/4 inch seam allowance. And like I said, I'm just kind of trying to keep everything taut here because I am going around a corner now. I'm going to come up on that pin. There's that. I think we've officially got the hole sewn closed now. I'm getting ready to turn the corner. And I'm actually going to use the hand wheel for this. Alright, lift it up. Now we're about ready to do these pleats. I'll drop it back down. And this is where it gets tricky, because you're going through first the elastic, and then you're coming up on this pleat, and it's just a lot of material to get through with this. This is where I ended up getting stuck before. So we'll see how this goes. Got the pin out, and we're going to continue. There we go. We're over the first pleat, so that's good. Sucking that next pleat down in there. I'm going to pull the pin on that. And this is actually, there we go. It was taking a minute for the feed dogs to catch. Alright, we're over that second pleat. Now we're going to get into the third. That's gone under the presser foot, pull the pin. Alright, we're through the first side of the mask. Now we'll use the hand wheel here to get close to the corner. One more stitch. Presser foot up. Turn the corner. Now we're stitching on another curve here, right? Not quite as bad as the other one, but we'll keep going around. And like I said, I haven't been, it's about a year now, I think, that I've been sewing various things. And you get more used to it. It's kind of like intuition, right? Just like with anything. So before I would have been a lot slower and wouldn't have gone around that turn quite so quick. But it's confidence, just like anything else. You got to get used to it. So now another tough thing, right? Through the elastic, through the pleats. So we're coming up on the first pleat. Pull the pin, drop that, keep going. All right, up to the next one. You don't want to hit, yeah, see now I pulled the head off of that pin. I got too close. See, when you push down on that, I got too rammy. You push down on that fold and it pinches because the needle hasn't quite pierced it yet. It's compressing it. And then you go and you pull your pin and you pull the head right off the pin. So now I'm going to stop a little bit shorter. I was right on top of that other one. See how much easier that comes out? So you always got to be aware of where you're going with this. And it can be quick too, so you got to get used to it. All right, now we're all the way around to the corner where we started. I'm going to one more stitch. Puts us right in line with where we were. Up with the presser foot. And I'm just going to do a couple back stitches here. So down, back. And then that's it. There's your COVID mask. There we go. And pull out. Cut it. There it is. So that's my third one. And each time I've gotten a little bit more confident and a little bit better. So they said that I would have enough material to make 10 or 15 of these. And I would if they had given me enough bands. Remember, it said that there wasn't quite enough material. Well, that's the only thing that they shorted me on, really, was these elastic bands. So I actually went and I ordered some from Amazon. I have more than enough material to make probably 30 masks here. So I went and I got that, it's just 1/4 inch elastic band that I ordered off of Amazon. That's on the way, and I'll start cranking out more of these. So thanks for watching. And maybe this will inspire you to go to Joann Fabrics and pick up some material and make some face masks. I think it's important to be doing stuff like this because, I mean, it seems like all the other systems are kind of botching it, right? So the more that you can do for your community, in your community, locally, the better. That's kind of my take on it. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this and you want to see any more adventure videos or any more how-to videos, make sure you hit subscribe to my channel, That Country Adventures. As always, it's been great having you here with me, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.